Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today, it is October 14th, 2022. It's on Friday. It's sunny outside. It's very sunny. So, I might dry my futon outside today. Is it Japanese style to dry futon outside? Hanging the futon on the fence outside. Do you know about think tanks? My teacher used to work at think tanks before becoming a teacher. My economic teacher used to work at a think tanks before becoming a teacher. He said his workload was so a lot. He was so busy. Think tanks. Do you know about think tanks? Are you familiar with think tanks? My teacher used to work at the think tanks. Think tanks. My teacher used to work at the think tanks. 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 What does a foundation do? What does a foundation do? The foundation was established with a view to helping those who are bad at internet. The foundation was established with a view to helping those without computer knowledge for free. The foundation was established with a view to helping those without internet knowledge. Politeness is the foundation of everything. Without politeness, nothing will start. Politeness is the most important part to start anything. Due to the weak, soft foundation of the land, the house was leaned. Due to the soft foundation of the land, the house leaned. Foundation. Foundation is the most important part of everything. If we don't have enough foundation, the new knowledges or skills will collapse like a pyramid shape. So the foundation is the most important part to everything. If the foundation is not enough, not solid enough, if the foundation does not solid enough, hard enough, large enough, the extra knowledges or skills above it will collapse like a pyramid. So foundation is the most important part. Foundation. The foundation was established to sell semiconductor. The foundation was established to create the opportunity to share opinions among those who have the same interest. The foundation was established to exchange opinions among those who have the similar interest. What is your exact objective to go to Hokkaido? Like seeing the lavender or enjoying the ski? My objective is to go to Hokkaido is that I could get the cheap ticket. It was on sale. I see. I can understand it. Can I know your true opinion, not false opinion? Can I know your exact true opinion? According to the opinion poll, about 80% of the respondents request for the amendment of the absolute laws. What is cause, reason, ideology, cause? No causes will be allowed for crimes. There is no cause to the crime. I cannot understand your cause. No one will understand your causes. It's insane, incredible. Beside the point. The typhoon caused many houses to be power outages. The typhoon caused many houses to flood. The typhoon caused many houses to happen blackout. The typhoon caused many residents to be stranded. The typhoon caused many residents to live without power, electric power. There is no exact cause of why my skin rashes. There is no exact cause of why I feel itchy on my skin. There is no exact cause of why I feel the itchiness. Cause. No causes will be justified regarding crimes. No causes will be justified regarding crimes. No causes will be justified regarding crimes. When it comes to crimes, no causes will be justified. There is no correct causes regarding the crime, what you did. Can I know your cause? Can I know your cause? Cause. I'd like to know your cause with regard to your decision. Can I know your cause towards your decision? Can I know your cause about your decision? The issues will be discussed at the diet house, at the diet session, at the ordinary diet session. The issue will be dealt with at the ordinary diet session, parliament session, congress session. I'm waiting for the fifth issue of the book to be issued. I'm waiting for the 5th issue of the book to be released. He was assigned to research and development department when he entered the company. As soon as he entered the company, he was assigned to the research and development department. What are they researching at the facility? What are they researching at the facility? Are you conservative or innovative? There are both conservatives and innovatives. Conservatives and innovatives. Even with the conservative estimate, the total fee is beyond 50,000 yen. Even with the conservative estimate, the total fee is beyond 50,000 yen. Conservative. Many people are conservative when they are in front of their bosses. I also tend to be conservative in front of my boss. Employees tend to be conservative in front of their bosses. Employees tend to be conservative. Employees are inclined to be conservative in front of their bosses. Employees are apt to be conservative in front of their bosses. Conservative. There are both conservative parties and innovative parties. There are both conservative and innovative parties. Conservative. Are you conservative or innovative? Affirmative, aggressive. Are you conservative or aggressive? Active. Are you conservative or active? Are you conservative or innovative? Conservative. The Conservative Party criticized against the innovation. The Conservative Party denounced the action by the Innovative Party. The Conservative Party denounced the remarks made by the innovative politician. The Conservative Party denounced the policy enacted by the ruling party. The Conservative Party denounced the policy enacted by the ruling party. The Conservative Party denounced the steamrolling. Even with the conservative estimate, the total fee is beyond 500,000 yen. Even with conservative estimate, the total fee is beyond 500,000 yen. Conservative, conservative, conservative. Are you conservative or aggressive? Affirmative. Active. I tend to be conservative in front of my bosses and cannot dare to tell my true opinions. Conservative estimate. Conservative estimate. Conservative estimate. conservative estimate, conservative estimate, conservative estimate. Conservative estimate, conservative estimate, conservative estimate, conservative estimate. Even with the conservative estimate, the total fee is beyond 30,000 yen. Even with the conservative estimate, my score hasn't reached the passing grade. My score hasn't reached the passing grade. My score hasn't reached the passing grade. Even with the estimate, a conservative estimate, my score hasn't reached the passing grade. Conservative estimate, conservative estimate, conservative, conservative estimate, conservative, 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 conservative estimate, conservative estimate, conservative estimate, conservative estimate. Are you conservative or aggressive? The company consists of 90% of conservatives and 10% of innovatives. I think many companies consist of conservatives who are afraid of challenging something crazy or innovation. I think many societies or groups or companies consist of mostly conservatives who are afraid of challenging something new. I think many companies consist of conservatives who don't like be changed, who don't like new changes. Maybe? Are you conservative or innovative? I think many ventures consist of innovative people. That's why it is called the venture. I presume that venture companies consist of many innovative people. Conservative. Are you conservative? Are you conservative? Are you conservative? The worker accumulated tremendous amount of money before going back to his native country. The person accumulated tremendous amount of money by working hard. He accumulated a tremendous amount of money by working hard. My stress is accumulating. My stress has been accumulating since last week. It might explode someday. We shouldn't accumulate stress. We shouldn't accumulate stress. We should release them on weekends or weekdays daily. The snow has been accumulating on the road because the snow has been snowing. The snow has keeping snowing. The snow is keep falling. And the snow has been accumulating on the road. The snow has been accumulating on the road. Due to the accumulation of working overtime, I broke my health. Due to the accumulation of working overtime, I broke my health. In the requirements, the company requires the accumulation of experience. Accumulation of experience is important than reading a book. In the course of the accumulation of the experience, you will learn many things. In the course of the accumulation of the experience, you will learn more things. Accumulation, 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 accumulation. Tiredness will be accumulative. Tiredness will be accumulative. Because I still have the tiredness today from the hard training from yesterday. Tiredness is accumulative because I still have the tiredness from yesterday's training. I still have the tiredness from yesterday's training. Accumulative. Many things are accumulative. 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 Dust will be accumulative, so if you don't clean regularly, the dust will accumulate. Dust or garbages will be accumulative. Dust is accumulative, so we need regular cleaning. Dust is accumulative. Dust is accumulative, so if we don't clean regularly, it will accumulate. Dust is accumulative, so if we don't clean, it will accumulate. The dust is accumulative, so if we don't clean, if we don't clean, if we don't clean, it will accumulate. Accumulative. 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 Dust is accumulative. Dust is accumulative, so if we don't clean, it will accumulate more and more. More and more. It will accumulate more and more. Dust is accumulative. Dust is accumulative. Dust, tiredness, and many things are accumulative. So we need to take the balance of them so that they won't go beyond the limitation. Dust, tiredness, and many things are accumulative. So we should take the balance so that they won't go beyond the limitation. Accumulative. 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 accumulative, 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 accumulative. Thus is accumulative, accumulative. Snow can be accumulative if it continues to falling, continues to fall. Snow can be accumulative if it continues to fall, if it continues falling, if it continues falling. Snow can be accumulative if it continues falling, if it continues to fall, if it continues to fall, if it keeps falling, if it keeps falling. Accumulative, accumulative. Tiredness is accumulative because I still have the tiredness from yesterday's training. Can I know how much money you have deposited in the bank? It's secret. Can I know how much money you have deposited in the bank account? The banker was surprised at the amount of money deposited by him. Deposit. We had to deposit about 10% of the accommodation fee as a deposit, and we could get it back when we checked out. We had to deposit some money, about 10% of the accommodation fee as a deposit, and we could get it back when we checked out. We could get it back when we checked out. We could have it back when we checked out. Deposit. How much deposit should I put? How much deposit should I put? About 10% of the accommodation fee. Okay. Deposit. Deposit. The man was lucky to win the lottery, and he deposited all of the money to the bank. He was lucky to win the lottery of about 1 million yen, and he deposited all of them in bank account. How much money have you deposited in the bank account? Somebody deposited in the city hall from Anonymous. Some money deposited in the city hall by Anonymous. Some money deposited in the bank account by Anonymous. Some money deposited in the toilet with a message saying, "Please use the money for the society." Some money deposited in the toilet with a message saying, "Please use the amount of money for the society." About 10% of the accommodation fee deposited at the check-in. About 10% of the accommodation fee deposited at the check-in. The luggage and baggage. The luggage was deposited at the counter of the hotel. The luggage will deposit before our arrival, prior to our arrival, ahead of our arrival. The luggage can deposit before your arrival, prior to your arrival, ahead of your arrival. The luggage can deposit. The luggage can deposit. The luggage can deposit prior to your arrival. The luggage can deposit prior to your arrival. The luggage can deposit prior to your arrival, ahead of your arrival. The luggage can deposit prior to your arrival. The luggage can deposit prior to your arrival. The baggage can deposit prior to your arrival, ahead of your arrival, before your arrival. About 10,000 million yen. 10,000 million yen has deposited in the city hall by anonymous. About 10,000 million yen. 1,000 million yen has deposited in the city hall by anonymous. Up to 10,000 million yen can deposit. Up to 10,000 million yen can deposit. Up to 10,000 yen can deposit. The couple put down 1 million yen as deposit. The couple put down 1 million yen as a deposit. We usually have to put down some amount of deposit when we rent an apartment. When we rent an apartment in Japan, we have to usually put down 1 or 2 months of amount of rental fee when we rent the apartment. We usually have to pay 1 or 2 months of renting fee when we rent apartment. We usually have to pay 1 or 2 months of renting fee when we rent apartment for the first time. We had to put down about 10% of the accommodation fee as a deposit. Do you put some money in a fixed deposit? Do you deposit some money as a fixed deposit? A fixed deposit. A fixed deposit. A fixed deposit. A fixed deposit. Fixed deposit. He turned his account as a fixed deposit. He turned his bank account a fixed deposit. He set his bank account as a fixed deposit. He set one of his bank accounts as a fixed deposit, fixed deposit, a fixed deposit, a fixed deposit, a fixed deposit, a fixed deposit. Can I know how much deposit you have in the bank account? The banker was surprised at the amount of money he has in the fixed deposit. I had to pay some amount of deposit at the check-in, but we could get it back when we checked out. We had to put down the deposit of about 10% of the accommodation fee at check-in, but we could get it back. We could have it back when we checked out. We had to put down the deposit of about 10% of the accommodation fee at check-in, and we could have it back, get it back when we checked out. Deposit, a fixed 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 deposit. A fixed deposit. He turned one of the bank accounts to a fixed deposit. With a fixed deposit, you can get higher interest rates. With a fixed rate, you can get a higher interest rate. With a fixed rate, you can get higher interest rate. A fixed rate, a fixed rate, a fixed rate, a fixed rate, fixed fee, for a fixed rate. Fixed deposit, a fixed deposit, a fixed deposit, a fixed deposit, a fixed deposit, deposit. We had to pay the deposit of about 10% of the accommodation fee as a deposit, but we could get it back when we checked out. We had to pay the deposit of about 10% of the accommodation fee at the check-in, but we could get it back when we checked out. A fixed deposit. How much deposit do you have? How much deposit do you have in the bank account? How many deposit do you have in the bank account? A fixed deposit, 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 a fixed deposit. A fixed deposit. We had to put down the deposit of about 10% of the accommodation fee at the check-in, but we could get it back when we checked out. We usually have to pay 1 or 2 months of renting fee when we rent apartment for the first time as a deposit. We usually have to pay 1 or 2 months of renting fee as a deposit when we rent an apartment for the first time. There is a kind of deposition in the bottom of the glass. I found something deposition in the bottom of the glass, so I called a staff to change it to a new one. I found a deposition in the bottom of the glass, so I called a staff to change it to a new one. Deposition. The deposition of the dignitary surprised us. The deposition of the dignitary took us all by surprise. Deposition. What is a deposition in the bottom of the water? What is a deposition? The deposition of the snow is being removed by the workers, the professionals. The height of the deposition of the snowfalls has risen by 1 meter overnight. The height of the deposition of the snow has risen by 1 meter overnight. What is the deposition? The height of the deposition has been increasing, becoming higher. The height of the deposition is becoming higher. The height of the deposition has been becoming higher. Deposition. What is a deposition? Deposition. What is a deposition? The deposition of the dignitary took us all by surprise. The deposition of the minister took us by surprised us. I felt someone taking hold of my hand in the haunted house. In the haunted house. Deposition. What is deposition? Deposition. What is a deposition in the bottom of the glass? I found a deposition in the bottom of the glass. Deposition. What is a deposition in the bottom of the river? Over time, the deposition the amount of the deposition in the swimming pool has increased. With time, the deposition in the bottom of the swimming pool increased. Deposition. The deposition in the swimming pool has increased with time, without cleaning. Without cleaning, the deposition on the road will increase. The amount of the deposition on the road, such as leaves or garbage, will increase if you don't clean it. Without cleaning, but for cleaning, if it were not for cleaning, the road would be filled with garbages. Deposition, 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 deposition. There used to be much deposition in the swimming pool before the cleaning. There was much deposition in the bottom of the swimming pool before the cleaning. Deposition. There used to be much deposition in the bottom of the swimming pool. There used to be much deposition in the bottom of the swimming pool before the cleaning. Deposition. The bank has the largest depositors in the world. The mega bank has the most depositors in the world. The bank is the largest with the largest number of depositors. The bank is the largest in the world with the largest number of depositors. 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 The bank is holding an event and appearing there, inviting them into the facilities in the world to increase the number of depositors. The bank is holding some events to attract more depositors. Depositor, 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 depositor. Are you a depositor of the bank? Are you a depositor of the bank? The mega bank is marketing and trying to get more depositors. The bank is holding an event and even producing their businesses or policies through the internet to get more depositors. Depositor. Are you a depositor of the bank? Are you a depositor of the bank? The bank has the largest in the district with the largest number of depositors in the district. Depositor. Depositor. You look apparently overwhelmed by the opponent. You look apparently pale after the terrible driving. The last train apparently had already gone. The last train had already gone. The last train had apparently gone. By the time I arrived at the station, the train had already gone. By the time I arrived at the train station, the last train had already gone, so I was obliged to stay in a capsule hotel. Apparently. It is apparently your responsibility. It is apparently your responsibility. It is apparently too expensive to buy. It is apparently your false responsibility. Accountability. It is apparently rude to speak with food in your mouth. It is apparently rude to speak with food in your mouth. With food in your mouth, it might be regarded as rude when you speak with food in your mouth in some countries. It might be regarded as rude or disrespectful if you don't arrange your shoes after taking them off at the entrance. Apparently. The project apparently went wrong. Went bad. The project apparently succeeded. The project apparently succeeded. The project apparently failed. The project apparently failed. Your behavior is an apparent rudeness. Your behavior is an apparent example of something. Apparent. The recently unearthed fossil fuels, the fossils in the basement, is an apparent evidence that the civilization used to be created in the town. The recently unearthed fossils is an apparent evidence that the civilization used to be created in the town. The recently excavated plates and cutleries under the ground are the apparent evidence that the civilization was created once in the town, in the area. Apparent. Drunk driving is apparent your failure. Apparent your responsibility. Carelessness is apparent your apparent mistake, failure. Apparent. Apparent. The mistake indicates your apparent disregardness. The mistake represents your apparent disregardness toward the policy. Disregard. Don't turn a blind eye to the policy. Reading a book. Don't turn a blind eye to the difficult duties. You should dare to you should be willing to tackle such difficult duties and feel that accomplishments. The security camera shows his apparent lies. The security camera shows his apparent lies. The security camera the footage captured by the security camera shows his apparent lies. Some songs influenced me. Some songs had an influence on me. Some songs had an influence on me. It is said that Japanese ukiyo-e had an influence on the Impressionists in Europe. The music really influenced me. The music really influenced me. Some songs and pieces really influenced me. Some songs really influenced me. I think music influenced many of you. I'm sure that music influenced many of you, most of you, or all of you. I'm sure that music had an influence on everybody. I'm sure that music had an influence on everybody. I'm sure that music had an influence on everybody. I'm sure that music had an influence on everybody. Had an effect on everybody. Music had an influence on everybody. Music had an influence on everybody. Music had an effect on everybody. Music had an influence 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 on everybody. I think many people started bands under the influence of the musician. I predict many people started bands or music under the influence of the musician. I started to have the interest in the world under the influence of my international student, my international friend. I started to have the interest in the world under the influence of my foreign friend, my international student in the same university. Under the influence of 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 under the influence of, I'm sure that many people started bands under the influence of the musician, under the influence of the musician. One of my friends started the sport under the influence of the animation. I think many inbounds came to Japan under the influence of the animation, Japanese animation. I think many tourists came to Japan under the influence of Japanese culture, such as animation. I think many tourists came to Japan under the influence of Japanese animation. Japanese animation. Under the influence of, 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 under the influence of. The small lady. The lady started to play the piano under the influence of the senior pianist in the same school. Under the influence of, under the influence of, under the influence of. The girl started to play the piano under the influence of the pianist. The girl started to play the piano under the influence of the pianist. The student chose the engineering under the influence of the astronaut. I started to have the interest in the world under the influence of my international student. I started to have interest. I started to have the interest in the world. I started to have the interest in the world under the influence of my international student. Under the influence of, I started to have the interest in the world under the influence of my international friend at the university. I started to have the interest in the world under the influence of my international friend at the same university. Under the influence of, under the influence of, under the influence of, under the influence of the musician, many people, I guess, started music bands. Do you want to be an influential person? Do you want to be an influential person? Would you like to be an influential person? Influential person. Influential teacher. Influential celebrity. Influential politician. Influential YouTuber. Influential. Are you an influential person? Influential. 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 an influential critic, an influential critic, an influential teacher. In some schools, the progress of the lessons much faster and advanced. Let's advance our tasks. The new technologies advanced the way we work in. The new technologies advanced method with we can be treated. The internet advanced the IT industry a lot. The internet advanced the IT industries a lot. The state of emergency advanced the change of the way in which we are working. The state of emergency and the pandemic advanced the change of many things. For example, many work was replaced by remote work. The teacher advanced the level of the student thoroughly, drastically. The teacher succeeded in advancing the level of the student. The teacher succeeded in advancing the level of the students. The hard working of the employees advanced the company a lot, drastically, radically, thoroughly. Please note that the clock is 30 minutes advanced. Please note that the clock is 30 minutes advanced. The silent atmosphere made me advance my study much more, much harder. The pandemic and the state of emergency advanced the way in which we work now. We work now in. The pandemic advanced the remote work. The pandemic and the state of emergency advanced the remote work. The state of emergency and the lasting pandemic advanced the remote work. Please note that the clock is 30 minutes advanced for the work. The pandemic and the lasting state of emergency advanced the way in which we are working now. The state of emergency and the lasting pandemic advanced remote work, advanced remote work. The spread of the internet advanced IT industries. The spread of the internet advanced globalism. The spread of the internet advanced globalization. The spread of the internet advanced tourism industries. The spread of the internet advanced some industries. The spread of the internet advanced globalization. The spread of the internet advanced globalization. The spread of the internet advanced globalization. I sometimes don't feel I'm progressing. I'm making a progress. I often feel I'm not making a progress at anything. It's like a movement of the stock. Even if we are practicing, the level might not improve. But during the course of the practice, up and down, the level will improve in the long run. Even with practice, sometimes the level of our technique might go down. In the process, the level will be increased and go up gradually and longer. Many things advance in comparison to the past. In comparison with the past, many things advanced. Many things have advanced. Many things advanced in comparison to the past. In comparison with the past. I sometimes fear my level is not advancing. I sometimes feel my level of English is not advancing. I often feel that the level of my English is not making a progress. It's not advancing. All we can do is to advance forward. Many things are advancing. Globalization is been advancing. Globalization has been advancing. The technologies are advancing faster than expected, faster than I expected. The technologies advanced faster than I expected. The academic accomplishment of the student advanced much faster than the teacher expected. Do I have to pay in advance? It depends on the business policy of the hotel. If we have to pay in advance or when you check in. It depends on the business policy of the company if you have to pay in advance or not. Whether you have to pay in advance or not. Do I have to pay in advance? To enter the amusement park, now, you have to make a reservation in advance. The celebrity took the advanced course, although he hadn't had experience of skiing, so he fell and be laughed at by someone. He took the advanced course, although he hadn't had the experience of skiing. And he fell and be laughed at by others, and he got angry. There are advanced and developing countries, advanced and developing nations, advanced countries and developing countries. Can I take the advanced course? Advanced. 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 Advanced technology. 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 Cutting off the edge technology. State of the art technology. state-of-the-art technology, cutting-edge technology, advanced technology. Advanced countries, advanced nations, developing countries, developing nations. My advancement to the general manager took everyone by surprise. My sudden promotion to the member of the executives surprised all of my colleagues. My sudden advancement to the vice president of the company took all of my employees, colleagues, coworkers, and bosses by surprise. Advancement. I hope the future medical advancement will cure my disease perfectly. I hope the medical advancement will cure, will treat, will deal with my skin problems perfectly, once and for all, once and for all. Advancement, medical advancement, technological advancement, medical advancement, technological advancement. The speed of the advancement of the student took the teachers by surprise, The pace of the advancement of new technologies is much faster than I expect. The speed of the technological advancement is much faster than I expect. Advancement. Make an advancement. Make an advancement. I often feel that my English level is not making an advancement. I often fear that my English is not making progress, making an advancement. Advancement, 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 advancement. I hope that medical advancement will improve, will cure my disease perfectly, once and for all. Advancement. Did you major in legislation? Did you major in law at the university? What did you major? What did you major in at your university? What did you major in at university? I majored in philosophy. Legislation. Some politicians would like to advance legislation regarding the matter. Legislation, legislation, legislation. The students are learning about the legislation. Legislation. The diet house has the largest authority in legislation and the only facility to create law. The Diet House has the largest right and the only facility to be able to create a law, enact a law, legislation. Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you.